The O'Reilly Factor's on tonight.
This is the type of program that I think would put even Orwell to shame.
Yet another shocking revelation under President Obama. Every American with Verizon telephone service is under surveillance. Ms. Megyn Kelly will report on that.
You personally signed the documents with the dollars on it before the conference.
I initialed the routing slip that went to...
What does that mean to you?
What that means?
Does that mean do you have any responsibility for that?
Talk about an out-of-control situation. The IRS spending almost $50 million taxpayer dollars on conferences and parties, even while they were unfairly scrutinizing conservatives. Laura Ingraham has some thoughts. Hi, I'm Bill O'Reilly. Thanks for watching us tonight. Federal government out of control. That is the subject of this evening's Talking Points memo. It seems every night I'm sitting here telling you about another horror story in Washington. Today, we learned that Americans who have Verizon telephone services are being spied upon by the National Security Agency, the NSA, an intelligence gathering group that often monitors communications abroad. Just a few moments, Megyn Kelly will be here to tell us all about this spying program. But the headline is this: the NSA and Verizon have all your calls. They know who you called, when you called, and how long you stayed on the phone. Apparently, they are not listening to your calls, just cataloging them. The Obama administration says this is necessary to fight the war on terror. But even liberal Americans are openly criticizing the president.
He ran against George Bush. In fact, every week we discover that he has strengthened the Bush state when it comes to national security, when it comes to going after whistleblowers, when it comes to criminalizing investigations by the press.
Well, this is the type of program that I think would put even Orwell to shame, and in some ways is even more troubling than the Bush administration's warrantless wiretapping program.
Now, Talking Points usually supports war on terror strategies, but this one, a major intrusion on the privacy of all Americans. This one is dangerous to us. Also today, another IRS hearing. Now we're learning the agency spent about $50 million taxpayer dollars on parties and conferences that were totally unnecessary.
We have what we understand is the swag bag from the event. This says leading into the future, and then we have a portfolio that says teamwork in action. These items, like 3,000 of them, were given to all the participants, over $60,000 of these types of trinkets. We note in the footnotes on what was in these swag bags is that it also included, and I'm kind of confused by saying this, a plastic squirting fish.
Of course it does. Now, this IRS embarrassment comes on the heels of the agency's admission that it unfairly targeted conservative Americans. Today we learned the IRS people in Cincinnati, originally blamed, say they were ordered by their superiors in Washington to do what they did. No surprise, except the Kool-Aid drinkers who refuse to acknowledge the federal government's out of control. And why is that? Well, it's President Obama's management style. He's simply not interested in many of the mundane things that go on in Washington. Unlike Bill Clinton, for example, the president delegates but does not oversee. So ideological federal employees and corrupt people working for the government know they can do pretty much what they want to do because there is little oversight from the top. And even when screw-ups happen, like the Justice Department snooping on reporter, nothing happens to those who are accountable, like Attorney General Holder.
But to be clear, you're not stepping down now.
No, I have no intention of doing so now.
No. Why? Why would he? No. So it's clear there is just chaos in Washington. I wonder what I'll be telling you tomorrow. And that's the memo. Now to the top story tonight, reaction joining us from Washington, Fox News analyst Laura Ingraham. So of all the scandals, IRS, Benghazi, snooping on reporters, and now snooping on Americans in general, which do you think is most important?
Bill, this is a swag bag of scandals. It's hard to pick, but lots of disturbing stuff from the NSA story today. But I still will have to go with door number 3, which is the IRS scandal, because it goes to the heart of what we're supposed to be able to believe about our federal government, that it doesn't operate with concern for what you believe or or what God you worship to or any of that. It operates with concern for the regular people, law-abiding citizens. And in fact, it turns out that that wasn't the case. And these hearings today, I'm glad you played that clip and that you're focusing on the hearings, because the hearings today are just more examples of this lack of accountability. There was this one guy who is the deputy commissioner of the IRS. His name is Ferris Fink.
Ferris Fink.
Can you believe it?
Yeah.
This sounds like something out of, a cartoon, but Ferris Fink had no idea, as deputy commissioner, how much these conferences were going to cost.
Let me stop you, though. We're looking at a picture of Ferris Fink, the guy you guys referred to, and he's dressed up like, I guess that's Mr. Spock of Star Wars, because in one of their little parties, the theme was Star Wars, and he was playing Spock. Of course, none of them know anything, Laura. They don't know anything.
It's just our money.
Hey, Lois
Don't
Lerner.
Look at me. It's other people's money. Bill, other people's money.
So this is what happens in a banana republic, and I think everybody should understand this. In a banana republic where leadership is non-existent, the government does what it wants. Everybody's a fiefdom. Every department does what it wants to do.
No accountability.
Right.
Yeah, well,
because your head accountability guy, Eric Holder, he's too busy tapping phones and doing this stuff. All right, so he can't be bothered with stuff like that.
The idea that they have these team-building conferences where a bunch of bureaucrats from field offices in Washington, they go to, they go to other cities like Anaheim or Las Vegas or wherever, and they have these conferences. So they're away from their families. They get to whoop it up for a few days. They get their swag bags. They do their stupid videos. They build the Star Wars bridge. Did you see that? The actual bridge from Star Wars cost $50,000 just to make that video and build the set for the video. Okay.
Yeah, Star Trek.
Star Trek, excuse me. Meanwhile, Americans in 2010 and today, they're struggling to even take a vacation or to go anywhere for 2 days.
Everybody knows that the IRS not only abused conservative Americans, but wasted our money. Now, to be fair, on the surveillance deal, which I said Miss Megan's coming up behind us with all the details, it started under the Bush administration, apparently, but it has continued and expanded under President Obama, with 121 million Americans being a part of the Verizon deal. All of our records are now in the hands of the government. And as we see in the IRS, all right, anything can be leaked out to anybody. So maybe they didn't listen to the calls, but they know who you called and how long you were on the phone with that person. And that can be put out to any website anytime they want.
Yeah, and we know that the Obama administration is really good at data mining. Remember, the campaign was so good at data mining? So they have the ability to data mine all of this. And look, you're right. It all started courtesy of the Patriot Act, which a lot of civil libertarians at the time raised red flags about. They were laughed off. I didn't focus that much, to tell you the truth, about the Patriot Act. I wish I had. I think that was a mistake.
I supported the Patriot Act, but I never thought that a warrant could cover every single American. And that's
Bill,
what happened.
The key thing is the FISA court is the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act.
But a judge signed off
now it's domestic.
Yeah, you can go get the records of everybody here.
Yeah.
And that I never even thought could be possible.
Yeah, and there was no specific reason to target people. No, so that's different from they're saying, and we'll learn more. I believe that's different from how the Bush administration approached it. We'll see.
All right, Ms. Laura, thanks very much. And here are the results of our BillO'Reilly.com poll. We asked, make a prediction, will Attorney General Eric Holder resign? About 20,000 of you voted. 53% say yes, he will. 47% say no, he will not.